guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Heather. I am a queer author of dark fantasy and young adult paranormal, and today is my somewhat second part of reading like a writer. In my first video I just ran through the changes I made in 2021 to rating my books. And subscribing because I put up reading and writing videos twice a week. So let's dive on into it. So this video is more going to be set around reading like a writer, and it to me is a really interesting avenue to go down because my reading, once I really sat in deciding that this was something I wanted to pursue on a serious matter as a career, it really did shift how I approached some books. So what I tend to do is, as I said, I use cawpile as my rating system, which is all explained in that video. But it also lets me know with what I'm more aware while I'm reading now of the 7 aspects in that, and what matters in a story and draws and compels me. So then what I need to work on as a writer and what I do well. So I also, as a writer, I tend to like to read a lot more widely, that I've noticed. Reading as a writer, I also read a bit more widely so I can have a better understanding of the genres and the tropes that are used in them. So that if I want to use them, or not use them, but sort of integrate them to an extent in my stories, I can, because I know how they're done. The other aspect I look at is the actual physical construction of like how the words play out on the page. So I then look at, if something's really fast and impactful, I sort of look at how it's written. So is it a big chunk of text, or is it lots of little paragraphs so your eyes have to jump down and then you get that sort of pacing and intensity. I also have been looking more at books that have recently released in genres that I am writing in, but I also look at books that are staples within the genres. So for dark fantasy, I am aware that there's Neil Gaiman's quite high up in there, Robert Jordan, J. Kristoff, Mark Lawrence. So they're authors that I really want to look at. And then if I hear about books that do what I want to do very well, then I will read them, because if I have an aspect in a story I want to do well, then I need to see it how it's done. There is a book called If I Stay by Gail Foreman, and I had an idea of children that arrive at a boarding school that really forms them. So they're thrust into a new environment and they have to slowly reveal what happened. So it is going to be flashbacks. So that, to me, as I've read that, is actually a really, I think, done quite well. And If I Stay is basically a girl goes out on a snow day with her family, her brother and parents, and there's a car accident. And in the entire book, majoritively, she is in a coma, and she's reliving aspects and parts of her life and making the decision of whether or not she wishes to stay and return to her life, or pass on, move on with her family to the ether, which is quite a sad story, but it does help me understand what I would like to do. So they are, and then rereading my favorite books, just reading them through once as just to enjoy them and stuff, and note things that I really enjoyed. Once I get to them and then I will reread them, is actually looking for the foreshadowing of events that are to come and how they set up the twists and turns and reveals. So they are some of the ideas and tips I use when I consider my reading as a writer or reading like a writer. I would love to know what tip of these really interested you and how you approach reading like a writer, or if you just try and separate them from reading and writing as 2 separate hobbies. Until then, let's use our voices to promote positive change of thought. Thank you and goodbye. Do 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 do.